Hello and welcome to episode number 149 of Week in Review. My name is Sean, and on this week's show we have 4 quick hit video game reviews for you. We're going to talk about the new mode in Forza Horizon 4 called Super 7. We'll talk a little bit about Dirt 5 and a couple of demos in Echo Generation and Song of Iron. We'll also look forward to this week's new releases and the streams happening over on twitch.tv/ShaunosaurusRex. After last week's rather disastrous, angry, cursy, loud episode that wasn't the best of moods because Cyberpunk 2077 cyber sucks in 2077 different ways. Let's get back on the positive side of things. I played 4 games after deciding that I did not like Cyberpunk 2077, and I enjoyed all of them quite a bit. All of these reviews are going to be pretty quick hits, early impressions. The only full new game that I played was Dirt 5. I did not play all of it, but that's the only one that's this one came out this year. The other two two of them are demos. One of them is additional content for a game that's been out for a couple of years that I really enjoy. And that is where we will start. We'll start with the Forza Horizon Super 7 game mode DLC. I'm not exactly sure what to call it. It's a free piece of content that is added into the Forza Horizon for plethora of things to do in that game, and that is the first thing that I want to give props to. Is Playground Games has done an incredible job of supporting this game over the last 2 years. It is a fantastic game. I really love the Horizon games. They speak to me more than the motorsport games just because they feel more burnouty. They feel more lighthearted and fun in a way that the more sim racing style of motorsports just doesn't really work for me. That being said, motorsport's still great, and I think that the Forza brand has always done a really great job of making the games very accessible with all of the different tuners and ways you can tweak it to make the game fit your playing style the best. I think they do a really, really good job with that. It's just that the Horizon style speaks to me a little bit more. And the new mode is called Super 7, and it's a pretty basic concept. It's just Mario Maker, but if it were in cars. So it's user-generated content where people go in and they can set up things for you to do, challenges for you to complete. The one knock I have against this isn't even the game mode itself. It's just that it's very new and the players haven't really gone buck wild with it yet. The Super 7 refers to an event that you can initiate, which gives you 7 random challenges that they're just pulled and thrown in front of you. You have to complete all 7 of the challenges that are presented to you, and then you beat the Super 7. It's pretty simple. The majority of the challenges that I did were just race from point A to point B using a specific car. I got one really creative one that was a maze that they used a bunch of trailers, truck trailers, to create a maze, and I thought that was really cool. That was the most unique one I saw. But again, the vast majority of them were just drive from this point to this point. I think the longer this exists and the more people tinker around and toy with it, I think you could get some really cool stuff with it. I just don't really know who is still playing this game and why they are still playing this game, what specific motivation they have to play it, aside from it being a very good game. I jump in for content drops like this just because I enjoy Forza, and then I play it and I'm like, man, I really should play more of this Horizon game, and then I obviously get distracted with other things and don't follow up on that. But hopefully some people will come up with some really, really cool stuff. Even the trailer seemed like it was going to be a little more extreme, where they had big half pipe pieces of concrete way up in the sky, and as it was going it was dropping you down. I'd like to see more of that from the creator pool, but we'll just have to let it ride for a little bit longer and see what they can come up with. The maze one, though, was very cool. And the mode definitely feels like a worthwhile addition to the Forza Horizon 4 repertoire. They've done, like I was saying earlier, they've done a really great job of supporting this game with content. They've been adding new story chapters to the game frequently. They had 2 really great pieces of DLC with Fortune Island and the fantastic Lego Speed Champions. The game is just a fantastic smorgasbord of things to do. I think it's great. I highly recommend checking out Forza Horizon 4. This is just another reason for me to jump in and enjoy game that I already enjoy. The next game we're going to talk quickly about is Dirt 5. I tweeted out earlier this year that Dirt 5 was kind of like a sleeper pick for one of my more anticipated games of the year, especially as we got into the fourth quarter where like the big push for holiday stuff comes around. I really love the Dirt franchise. I liked it all the way back when it was Colin McRae Rally. He passed away. They named it Dirt. Honestly, Dirt 5 is everything you would expect from a Dirt game. It looks great. It plays really well. It has cool race types and modes. The cars are awesome. It's just a plethora of events that you do. They try to thread through some kind of story in there with Troy Baker playing a character named Nolan. They have like a couple guys on like a podcast where they're kind of talking amongst each other about what's going on in the world of like extreme rally sports and whatever. And Nolan, the character, is like interacting with you because he sees you as like a bright spot in the future of motorsports or whatever. Like it's kind of a generic like sports or racing like story where it's like, oh, the young hotshot, upstart hotshot's gonna be at the top, I guess. It doesn't really matter because the game is so much fun. I'm having a really good time with the events. The weird omission with this is that there is not any traditional rally where it's like just you against the clock. Everything, with the exception of one mode, everything has multiple cars all over the track, and it's a very weird experience because what you think of, or what I think of when I think of the Dirt games or the Colin McRae games before them, was rally racing. But it's interesting because this game has diverted in a weird path, and it's almost the inverse of Forza in the way that game has kind of split into two different franchises as well. And it's interesting talking about those in the same review, like back to back. The Dirt franchise started as like a pretty hardcore rally game, and after they had changed the name, they came out with the first Dirt game. That game's great. I really enjoyed it. That had my favorite mode in it. It's called Hill Climb, where you take like big rig truck fronts. I don't know, cabs. That's what the word is for them. You take cabs and you run them up a hill as fast as possible, like a course from like the bottom to like the top of a mountain or whatever. And I really love that mode, and we've never seen it again. But what Dirt has done is it's kind of further, as the numbers get higher, it's further asserted itself more into the X Games like Gymkhana style of racing, where it's been like Rallycross and Land Rush and things of that nature. The sprint cars are in Dirt 5, and it's gone a little more towards that like kind of traditional racing game where there's like a bunch of different things, but there's always other cars on the track, and you're always trying to race immediately with somebody on the track with you, rather than the rally of like it's you against the clock and it's just you on the course, and you have to listen to the communication from your co-driver as he's like, it's a left 5, don't cut into a dip over the jump, stay middle. Like, I really enjoy that, and it would be a bigger problem except for around the time that they released Dirt 4, they split the franchise into two different tracks. The more like, arcade is not the right word, but the more brightly colored X Gamesian version, the numbered series, and they split it into Dirt Rally, and they have Dirt Rally and Dirt Rally 2.0, which is like a very hardcore, difficult sim dirt racing game. And so it creates this weird thing where I'm thinking about it and I'm like, it's a bummer that there isn't any traditional rally in this game. I know that I have that option in an alternate game called literally Dirt Rally, so it's hard to be too mad about it, and I feel like they have identified good things to keep together. So if you're like, I really like the Land Rush stuff, I like the crossovers, all that sort of stuff, and the rally just gets in the way, go for Dirt 5. If you really just want rally and you don't want to deal with all of those other modes, you can just play Dirt Rally, and I think that's a really good way of doing it. The one mode that I mentioned earlier that doesn't have anybody else and is a race against the clock is a new kind of, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a new kind of like obstacle hill climb sort of thing where you're taking a new style of car that I don't think I've ever seen in the Dirt games, and you're driving it up this like difficult cliffside where there's like rocks that you need to hit specifically, and there's all kinds of debris, and there's stuff all over the track. It's really weird. It's interesting. I like it. But that's as close as it gets to the rally stuff. I don't think I explained that very well at all, but it's kind of like Trials Light, where it's like you need to make sure that you're going off this ramp correctly so that you can land and carry your momentum and stuff like that. They also have a new one called Icebreaker, a new mode called Icebreaker, which is on literal ice and is very cool. I struggled with that one the most. Actually, no, that's not true. I struggled with the sprint cars the most because they don't handle very well at all. But as far as the modes that I enjoyed, the Icebreaker, I struggled with the most just because I don't think I had the right car with the right tires. It was slipping and sliding and never gaining any traction, like, at all. So it's a cool, nice mix of different styles of racing. The races are fun. They're frantic. I always felt like I had a chance to make a comeback. There were a couple of times that, like, I definitely didn't because it was like the last lap or whatever. But if you fall behind early, you still feel like you have a chance to come back and make a run for it. I had a very exciting final race that I really enjoyed doing. The racing's great. The game looks fantastic. It's weirdly, it's what I want out of a dirt game, even though it doesn't have the rally stuff, but it's okay because I can get that somewhere else. It's a very weird thing, but in this case, not having the rally isn't the biggest deal in the world. And it's a fantastic game. None of the races last too long. It feels like you're in a very good loop of, like, completing a race, getting your XP, getting your unlocks, unlocking a new car, back into a race, and doing that thing over and over and over again. I really love the Dirt franchise, and I think this is a fantastic new entry in that series. Last up on this week's reviews, we are going to talk about Echo Generation, and we're going to talk about Song of Iron. They were part of the Game Awards Festival demo thing that they were doing between both Steam and on Xbox. And while there were more demos on Steam, Xbox still had 4 demos, which is awesome. They had Raji and Ancient Epic and Genesis Noir. Both of those games I played back in the July demo fest, and I liked both of them. I don't know exactly what happened, but the Genesis Noir demo, I think, glitched or something. I got stuck on a weird part, and Raji was one of the games that I liked the most, and I liked it the more I played it. And that game is on sale right now, so I should pick it up so I can play it because I had such a good time with the demo. The 2 demos that I did play of the 4 that were available were Echo Generation and Song of Iron. We'll start with Song of Iron. This one I did not spend a ton of time with, and I did not spend a ton of time with it because I understood what it was. This is a limbo-looking, side-scrolling combat game where you are some kind of warrior whose village has been burned. There's a very interesting style to this game with the way it tells its story. Basically, it gives you the controls, it gives you like a very light tutorial on how everything works. Then it pushes you into the story. There were no words in the demo. Everything is just you kind of moving along the screen, and then you get to a point where you kind of find out that someone that you loved, I would assume like a kid, someone you've loved, they have died, and now you are out to go presumably find revenge. I don't really know exactly what's going on. I'm intrigued though. I think it has a really cool art style, and I think that it's tutorialized very, very well, and I thought it was intuitive and interesting in how the game played. After you find out that things are not going well back home, you continue through the forest, and this is where the game tutorializes you on how exactly the combat and the encounters work. Once it gives you the controls of block, dodge, jump, move, all that sort of stuff, they kind of just leave you to figure out how to best use the tools that you have been given. And they do that in a really interesting way where they just give you like minimal combat, like 1-on-1, and maybe it's like a 2-on-1, and then maybe there's 3 people. I thought it was really cool and really well done, and I understood what they were going for from a combat perspective. If I do have one knock against it, it's that when you defeat enemies, you can pick up their weapons and their shields, but it is very difficult, if not impossible, to tell what you're grabbing. So a number of times I had like a brand new fresh shield, and I was like, oh cool, I'll pick up their weapon, and then I'd pick up my old shield, and then I'd re-pick up the new shield, and I'm like, I don't know what I am grabbing here. There is no indication whatsoever. There's a tiny little white dot on the screen that indicates that there is something to interact with, but you have no idea what that is. It's just, everything is so like blended into the ground. You're like, I think I'm picking up a weapon, but I don't really know, so I'll like move over here and hopefully get them spread out enough to where I can find what I'm looking for. But it was a great game. I probably only played it for like 15 or 20 minutes, but I really understood what they were going for as far as the gameplay was concerned, and I'm curious about the story. So this one's definitely a game to keep an eye on going into 2021. As is the second demo that I played, which is Echo Generation. This game is fantastic. Of the 4 things that I played after deciding that Cyberpunk wasn't for me, this was the game that I liked the most. It was clicking with me in a way that like a Paper Mario game clicks with me. This is a turn-based RPG that is in like a very nice pixel style, but is like a 3D pixel style. So it's not like side-scrolling. You have like depth, and you can move around. I guess that's very Paper Mario-y as well, because Paper Mario's flat. It doesn't matter. The point is, the game is great. I think it's really well written. It's humorous. You are fighting raccoons for some reason. The game's great. I loved all the time I spent with it. The game also has some very light puzzle elements to it. For example, your sister needs a traffic cone for a decoration, and you have to figure out how to get that traffic cone away from the thing that is guarding it. And it has this like very nice flow of like, okay, I see this is my end goal. Maybe if I go over here to this area, I can find something that will distract that person so I can get this or whatever. I like the way it built on itself, and it gave you, I think at one point I had like 3 or 4 things that I needed to keep track of where they were or how to get them. And I knew what I was looking for to continue on my quest. But it was nice having that like 3 or 4 things of like, okay, I need to keep an eye out for a traffic cone. I need to look for a bus pass. I need to figure out how to get these things. I just thought it was a really awesome and fun experience. You play as a kid, you're just hanging out, and you wake up. You're writing a movie. You can read the script on the computer. You have a conversation with your mom. She wants you to like hang out with your sister. You have to figure out how to get your sister out of the house, and then you can kind of continue on your journey. You meet interesting characters who have cool like backstories. I had a really good time playing this game. It was hitting that Paper Mario itch. It has the turn-based stuff. It has the puzzle elements. It has a timing mechanic in the fighting that while I struggled with some of them, I thought a lot of the other ones were very intuitive and made a whole lot of sense, and you started to really feel like, okay, I understand what I'm trying to do here, and I need to use these 2 moves to knock this out in one hit, and that kind of like light strategic element worked very well for me. The one knock against this demo, though, is that there is a problem where you can't replenish items. So you can go around the world and like search through garbage cans and pick up like juice boxes and sandwiches and stuff like that. That'll give you HP back if you get low on them, or a cookie that'll give you back your special attack points so you can do more powerful attacks. The problem is there's no way to get them back once you've used them, and I had trouble enough with the final boss to where I like turned off the game, restarted it, reset the like world, and just started brand new, and then saved all the items and still sucked and lost to the like final boss of the area. Because there wasn't a way to get more or replenish items or do any sort of thing like that. Maybe I needed to grind a little bit more, but it didn't really take away from the experience. I really just wanted to beat it because I wanted to get through the whole thing and experience it. But I am very excited about this. This is definitely a game for me to keep an eye on for next year when it hopefully comes out, because I had a blast playing this demo, and I think it hits a lot of really great spots that the Paper Mario franchise maybe isn't hitting as well as it used to, though the Origami King game is very good. Even with that very minor gripe, I had a blast with Echo Generation. It'll definitely be one of the most anticipated games for me coming out next year, if that's its target date. If not, it will be one of the most anticipated games for whenever it comes out. I'm very excited to play a lot more of this and dive into that world. I just, man, what a surprise, because I didn't know anything about it going in, and I walked out going like, yeah, day one I'm buying that. So thank you for putting that demo on. I greatly appreciate it. I think the game demo festival that they did and the game demo fest that they did back in July, both of those have been really awesome, and hopefully we get to see more of that as 2021 rolls on. I think I think it's super helpful because I walk out going, man, here's 10 or 15 or whatever games that I want to play and I plan on playing. But I also think that it helps give you something to look forward to and gives you something to keep your eyes on, because there's so much stuff in the digital marketplace specifically where you're just like, I've never heard of this. But like playing all those demos back in July, playing these couple of demos in the Game Demo Festival here in December, I look at it, and I've talked about it before on this show. I look at the lists of stuff that's coming out and I go, oh, I played that. Okay, wasn't really for me. Or you get something like a Scourgebringer or a Chris Tales or an Echo Generation or a Fogs or a Haven, and you go, yep, I'm in. I'm super in on that, and I want to play it right now. So yeah, please keep doing this. Put demos out. If you're a big company, if you're a Microsoft, if you're a Sony, if you're a Nintendo, you probably won't do it. Microsoft probably will, but see if you can put some money towards that and see if you can get some more eyes on this stuff. Microsoft obviously has the advantage with Game Pass. They can just put that stuff in, go, hey, make a demo. Let's work a deal for Game Pass. There you go. I think demos are really great, and I've walked away with an even larger backlog than I had before. So thank you, demos. Finally, on this week's show, we'll take a look at the week's new releases. Nothing on Blu-ray, nothing games-wise that's all that interesting, but there are 2 movies hitting streaming services in 2 different but similar ways that I think are very interesting. The first one is Disney Pixar's Soul. I am very excited about this movie. I was going to say would be very excited for this movie. I would be more excited for this movie if it was out in theaters and available to me in theaters near me, but I don't believe that is the case. Instead, it's releasing on Disney Plus through their Premier Access, whatever, which means it'll probably be, I don't know, I don't remember how much Mulan was. I think Mulan was $30, so I would assume it would be along those lines. I don't know if or when I'll get to this. I will probably, if I'm being honest with myself, I will probably wait until the Blu-ray comes out, and that's when I'll watch it. I don't really have much interest in renting a digital copy of a movie for $30. That's not me. But buying a movie for $20, $25 on a Blu-ray or even a 4K disc with a Blu-ray in it, that makes more sense in my head. Though on the flip side, we have the very interesting release strategy for Wonder Woman 1984, which is releasing on HBO Max at no extra cost to subscribers, which is mind-boggling. That movie will be in theaters where applicable, where open, and on digital streaming services the same day at no extra cost. I can't believe I'm saying that, and I can't believe what Warner Brothers is doing as far as their like broader aspirations for the HBO Max app, with having a lot of movies, including stuff like The Matrix 4, coming to the service day and date. It's pretty crazy. It feels very wild, but it also feels very 2020. I'm curious about Wonder Woman 1984. I never watched the original one because DC's movies have been very to uneven to garbage over the last couple of years, but it seems like Wonder Woman's been the one that is like, hey, this is the one that you should watch. Mainly, I'm curious about this movie because I like Kristen Wiig a lot, I like Pedro Pascal a lot, and I really like Chris Pine a lot. I know he's in the first one, but I don't know. The trailers were doing it for me. I thought it looked cool. It had a good, an interesting, good art direction or art style. I don't know. It was something that I thought worked well for me and seemed interesting. I don't know when or if I'll get to this. I've been all over the board with movies. I haven't been super consistent with watching any of them, but those are 2 that you can watch this Friday to celebrate the happy holiday, if you so choose to watch Soul on Disney Plus or Wonder Woman 1984. Let's enunciate that a little more. 1984 on HBO Max. No new games this week means that we get to, again, dip into the back catalog of games that have been piling up on my Xbox One, PlayStation 4, etc., etc. Nintendo Switch is in there, I'm sure, and I have a lot of crap on my 360. I'm positive that I could be playing right now. But this week's streams are going to be a little different because of the holiday. So Wednesday, December 23rd, don't usually stream on that day, but we're going to do a stream that night. It's going to be from about 5 to 9:30 p.m. It's going to be 2 parts. It'll be from 5 to 7:15-ish. It'll be Calico, which is a game that stealth released last week in the Nintendo Indie World Direct that they did. And then I'll take a little break, come back, and I'll play a couple hours of Phogs, Phogs, the double head dog puzzle game that I'm very interested in trying. So we'll try those out, and I imagine we'll see those in the future in January, trying to clean out some of that backlog a little bit more. But I'm very interested in playing both of them. I hope both of them stick, and we'll see how those go. Play the opening couple hours of each of those games. Wednesday, again, 5 to 9:30 p.m. Pacific time. Thursday, December 24th, I'm going to be streaming probably from like noon to like 3:30-ish. It's going to be an early stream, and it's going to be another short stream. It's going to be Halo 5 Festive Fiesta mode. We're going to jump in and try that out. I played the Fiesta mode, or the turkey one that they had in Master Chief Collection, and I had a lot of fun with it, so I figured I would take them up on their other festive opportunity and play some Halo 5, which is a game that I like, even if I feel like I should be better at it than I am. Sunday, we'll see the return of Bus Simulator. Not that it really went anywhere. It's still here. We are on part 8. We are just about to jump into the DLC, and then we should be cruising along. We have probably another 3 parts of that. So if you're interested in the bus sim and unlocking the final achievement for 75 gamer score, tune in on Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Pacific time over on Twitch. And then Monday is Mystery Bag Monday, episode number 11. So go check that out. Last couple episodes have been very good, and we're getting towards the end of the first batch. So that will also be at 3:30. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Week in Review. If you like the content, you can scroll on down. You can hit that subscribe button and then ring that bell so you know when I post new videos. If you want, you can leave me a comment below. You just have to scroll down a little bit further, and you can tell me what you thought of the Super 7 mode in Horizon, Forza Horizon 4, that is. You can tell me what you thought of Dirt 5, if you played the Echo Generation or Song of Iron demos, or any of the other demos that were available in the Game Awards Festival. Then you can head on over to twitch.tv/ShaunosaurusRex on Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday for all the streams and all the live gameplay over there. And then check right back here every week for more Week in Review. We'll see you next week.